Earlier this week, we brought you the horrifying story out of Rotherham in northern England, where more than 1,400 girls were sexually abused by an organized gang of mainly men of Pakistani heritage. Now we take a deeper look into the origin of this crime and what is a cultural crisis: the widespread rape and prostitution of underage boys on the streets of Pakistan itself. A new film called Pakistan's Hidden Shame digs deep into its most poor and dangerous corners to uncover this pervasive and pernicious problem. Take a look.
Pakistan is also a country in denial, turning a blind eye to the sexual exploitation of many thousands of poor and vulnerable children.
It's going on everywhere, in the big cities or small cities or towns. Everywhere this is happening.
अपने जानू भेजा, मेरा पास पैसे भी नहीं था।
तुम्हारी उम्र क्या थी उस जमाने में?
8.5 साल, छोटा था मैं।
Jamie Duran wrote and produced Pakistan's Hidden Shame. He spent time in Peshawar, which is near the Afghan border, in an incredibly dangerous mission to document this story. The film has already raised a ruckus in Japan and Australia, and it premieres here in Britain on Channel 4 on Monday, and it'll air around the world as well in the coming weeks. Jamie Duran, welcome.
Thank you.
First and foremost, this film dovetails almost perfectly and eerily with the real-time crisis that's happened here in England. I mean, this must be a really big lesson right now, isn't it?
A big lesson. I mean, obviously there are differences, but culturally they're the same, if you like. In Pakistan, you're having the abuse of young boys, largely because young girls are not available. Whereas in the UK, of course, that's entirely different. And if you really delve into the reasons behind this, you will find in such societies the role of women is so meagre, their power is almost non-existent, and every survey in recent times has linked the lack of female power to paedophilia. And
in fact, the UN, the World Health Organization, all sorts of organizations have talked about that as a problem and the basis of this kind of problem. But let's just get back to the beginning. First of all, what made you look into this? I mean, the figures are staggering. Something like 4 million Pakistani children are in the labor force, unofficially presumably. 1.5 million are on the streets. What drew you to Peshawar to document this?
Well, obviously, in the past, I'd made a film called The Dancing Boys of Afghanistan,
yeah,
which showed the abuse...
Which we saw on this program.
The abuse of children in Pakistan, young boys in Afghanistan. And then we did Opium Brides, which showed the abuse of young girls. And while we were doing that, we heard about this same situation, if you like, only on a far, far bigger scale in Pakistan itself. And we travelled to Peshawar. We had a great research team. I should say here that apart from me, the entire team was Pakistani. So, you know, I was desperate to avoid any claims of racism or anything else involved. The entire team was Pakistani, led by a fabulous man called Mo Naqvi, who has an ability to get people to talk.
And boy, did they talk. Let us play a clip of one of the main characters who explains what happened to himself, also a social worker who's trying to help.
इधर मैं चरपाई पे सोया था, 4 बंदों ने मुझे पकड़ा, गाड़ी में बिठाया, एक वो गाड़ी का ड्राइवर था और 3 पौड़ी पर, तो उधर चारों ने मेरे साथ ज्यादती किया। उसके बाद मेरा खून भी निकला था, मैं बेहोश भी था।
It's going on everywhere, and people don't believe when we say something. They say that civil society is exaggerating. We are not exaggerating. Denial.
Denial. It almost, again, has these eerie echoes of what happened right here in Rotherham, England, and may indeed be more widespread in Britain, that people won't listen to the complaints of these children.
That's right. I mean, paedophiles by their very nature are inadequate. It's about power over children. And if you look at what's happened in Rotherham, you look at what's happened in Pakistan, it's virtually the same, where these individuals are able to use and abuse vulnerable children, Pakistan in particular because of the poverty. And that's one of the other factors that really plays here.
And you found that it was around the bus stations where this epidemic really is centered, because that's where men come in and out, that's where they take their rest, that's where they think they'll have a good time with a boy. Something like 95% of the bus drivers said they abuse these boys, have sex with them as part of their entertainment. Part of what makes this so sensitive is the racial, ethnic, religious aspect of it. Certainly that's causing a ruckus here in England. Let's play what this bus driver or bus conductor told your team about the religious aspect of it.
हाँ, हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है क्योंकि हम मुसलमान हैं।
ये जो छोटे लड़के हैं आप इस्तेमाल करते हैं वो आपको बुरा नहीं लगता क्योंकि वो इस्लाम के खिलाफ है या क्या?
बस क्या करते हैं, मजबूरी है ना। वो तो है इस्लाम के खिलाफ है। उस टाइम अल्लाह ताला को बुहारा जाता है, लेकिन बस क्या करें, मजबूर है ना।
So there are on many, many levels double standards. The fact that religion prevents them from doing that, and yet they do it. They say, hey, we can't help our desires. And also the notion that because girls are meant to be sacrosanct, they abuse boys. And in England, many people believe that it was white girls who were targeted by these gangs of Pakistani heritage men because they wouldn't dare do it to their own religious group.
Obviously, we have to understand the position of young girls. There is a value to young girls in Pakistani society and that culture, and it's very much about their purity, and they have to remain pure to keep that value. Whereas young boys, as some of the people say in the film, we can't go near girls, but we can take boys anywhere at all.
Now, Naeem is the main character. We heard from him. He really is an attractive character. You get into his story, and at the end is actually kind of a good news story. He's taken to a dry-out facility, he gets some education, and apparently he's now got a job, and people are keeping an eye on him. But what do you hope this will do inside Pakistan? How do you hope your film will be received?
Well, you know, no Pakistani broadcaster has come forward to take the film yet, and if I may use your programme to offer it free to any Pakistani broadcaster who would like to show it, who has the bravery to show it, because it's incredibly important that Pakistan looks inside itself. Imran Khan, the politician, says it's his country's greatest shame. There are so many others, social workers, human rights lawyers, who are trying to do their very, very best, but are coming up against a brick wall. The society has to look inside itself and actually challenge itself to change.
Do you think Imran Khan has got MPs in government? He's promised you that he'll take this up. Do you think he will? Is there any chance of accountability, you know, for these perpetrators?
Let me tell you, I'm not a great fan of politicians anywhere in the world, and I've met far too many of them. There was something about Imran Khan that struck me when I interviewed him, something of the honesty and integrity. I think he's going to do something. From what I hear in the background, it's beginning already.
Well, let's hope for the sake of these children, and actually for the sake of the whole society there. Jamie Duran, thank you so much.
Thank you.